Okay, so that definitely is an error here. That wasn't luck. I have a copy and paste error. So here, show that image. Look at what I did. I copied the code from here, but I needed to change this to second click. Big typo there, right? This is why that was too much of a coincidence. So let's try again here. All right, so those don't match. And I need to be able to click again. All right, so there's a reset here that we need to work on. All right, so what we have to do, we're in this code of what happens if there was a match, right? So what happens if there's not a match? So if there's not a match, I want a little short delay. Then I need to turn the pictures back over, right? So in order to do that, we need to add a couple of things. So also I'm going to put a little message in here. So the same thing where I said that we have a match, I'm going to put in here, try again. So this was in no match. Now we ought to be able to see that message come up, the try again. All right, so now we need these two pictures to turn back over, but we want to have a little delay for that to happen. So in order to do that, we are going to set up a timer, right? So at the very top of our code, let's create timer equals null. This is for our delay. All right, we're going to actually have two timers because we're going to set up another one to time how long it's taking. Now, what we're going to do here, let's go back to where we were. What happens if there's not a match? Then we need to call our timer. So we're going to say timer equals set timeout. This is going to be a one-time delay. And we're going to set up the function to call. It's going to be called toggle picks. And here's where you specify how long the delay is. So if I put 1,000, that will be 1 second. So what is going to happen here is we're going to call this method and then it will trigger in 1 second. Okay, so let's set up what toggle picks needs to do. So this is the end of, where are we in? Check match. So function toggle picks. So what it needs to do, we need to turn the pictures back over. So we're going to call this function after 1 second. So after 1 second, I need to show the back picture. And we know the positions, it's on first click and second click, right? So we say document get element by ID first click dot to string, because we need that ID to be a string, dot source equals pics back.png. And we need to do the exact same thing for the second click. So I will copy this. And this is second click. then we need to stop the timer. Clear timeout, timer, and we need to reset for our clicks. So we need to say first click equals -1, second click equals -1, and we want to clear out that message. The message that either tells me that I've won, that I have a match or I don't. I just want to clear it out. Document get element by ID message dot enter HTML equals. Okay, so when we call this method, we basically turn over these two pictures, stop my timer, reset, and clear that out. All right, we should pause, look at that. So it looks like we have, oops, there we go. We have a match there, right? So this is working. Right, so what's left, a couple things are left. We have to know when the game is over, and the game is going to be over when we have 8 matches. So that is another thing that we need to check for in here. So where we actually increment the number correct, if we have a match here, we should check if the game is over. So if correct is equal to 8, then we're going to say game over. Document.get element by ID message dot enter HTML equals game over. Now there's actually one other little thing that we're going to have to fix, a couple things besides the clock. One other thing besides the clock. So there's actually a little problem right now because, let me find a match. Okay. So here's a problem. If I go and click these again, like I shouldn't be able to click any images that have already been turned over. So if I want to disable that, what I have to do is remove the event listener. So again, there's a number of things that I need to do if there's a match. And one of the last things that we need to do here is I want to remove the event listener so they can't be clicked again. And to do that, document get element by ID, first click to string dot remove event listener, click check match. So it's just the opposite of setting the event listener. And I'll have to do this for first click and for second click. Let's see if that worked. All right, let's get a match. There we go. So you see, I can't click. Anything that's already been selected, I can't click, right? So we were able to remove that, right? Let's see if we can get the game over message. I think that's there. Game over. All right, so we have almost everything. The only thing that's left is our clock. our timer. And that's actually a really easy thing to do. What we have to do is have a second, we've got this, let clock equals null. So this is for my clock. And I need a counter for my seconds. Right? We also are going to want to, in start game, reset seconds equals 0. And, equals 0. And clear. That's going to, both of those things are going to be necessary to reset our clock. Now, what do we need to do to implement the clock? Basically, we just need a counter that is going to count every 1 second. So at the very end here, I'm going to create a function. I'll call it tick. It increments seconds and displays. So we increment that, and then document get element by ID. I have a span called clock. Enter HTML equals seconds plus seconds. Right? And then how do I get it going? So at the end of start game, to start my clock, so I'm going to do it the last thing at the end of start game. Clock equals set interval. And what we're going to do, we're going to call tick every 1,000 seconds, which is 1,000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. Clock is not defined at line 6. Clock is not defined, oh, it's 61. 61. Clock equals set interval. Typo, clock. There we go. That's why you have to leave your console open to look for errors like this. So there we go. I have to get rid of that message. That was just there to make sure. And what we want, I think we have one more thing. We have to stop the clock. I'm being very bad at playing the game right now. We have to get through it in order to see how are we going to stop the clock. Hard to talk and pay attention here at the same time. Where was Darth? I have forgotten where things are. I saw you. Saw you. There we go. Okay, but look, we have to stop the clock. Okay, so there's one more thing we need to do. If, when the game is over, here, when the game is over, we have to stop the clock, and we do that by calling clear interval clock. Right, and one more thing I want to do, I want to take this message out of here. That was just a little debugging. All right, let's see where we are now. Right, my clock is ticking. I am I'm going to pay attention here. I saw you. There we go. All right, we have to make sure the clock is going to stop. Saw you. And if you want to speed up, the turning back over of the cards, you just change that timer. Where did it go? There you go. My young Luke and my other Luke are so close to the same picture. Where is Darth? Right there. There we go. All right, clock stopped. Let's see if we start game restarts the game. And yes, my clock restarted and we're good to go for a new game. So, looks like we are in good shape here. So let's just kind of do a quick little review of what's going on. We might want to refactor a few things in here, but we have our start game function that basically does all the work of picking the pictures and assigning them to choices, and then showing the back image, setting up the click handlers, and starting the clock. We have our check match function, which is doing the bulk of the work. We have to first see, was it the first click? If so, I need to save that. I need to show that image and save that number. Then if it's my second click, I need to show that image and save that. We can get rid of our console logs here. Show the image. And only if I'm here in a second click do I check to see if there was a match. If there's a match, I increment my counter. If I get to 8, we stop the game. We also need to remove those event listeners so that we basically disable those two buttons, and we reset for the next try. Otherwise, if there's not a match, then I need my little delay, and then turn the pictures back over again. And what my toggle does is turn them back to the back image, and it stops. This is my delay timer, and we reset and we clear that out. And then this was just a helper function to shuffle our words. And then this is my clock that just basically increments. And again, if you want to speed the game up and make it harder, what you change is this delay. So for example, if I make this 500, then that's half a second. So that means that they'll turn back over a lot faster, right? So that's a way to really speed up the game. Actually, I think it works a little better that way. Being able to have them turn over a lot faster. So that's how you can then sort of, I like that a lot better, actually. Yes. All right, so there is your concentration game. And you can change pictures, add pictures, whatever it is that you want. You notice we have a lot of comments in here. To be clear about what it is we're doing, this code is indented to make it really easy to tell what's going on. So I hope you had fun building this concentration game.